But sure enough, come Black Friday, you Negroes will be out there shopping and fighting and standing in line all night to buy some junk that China made. Stick it under the tree so your children can be happy with you. See, you don't raise your kids no more, they raise you now. Children tell the parents what the new code is. You will buy me Jordans or I will disown you as your child. You will get me a blonde weave or I will disown you as a child. You will get me a video game system, an HD TV, a new iPhone, or I will disown you. And because as parents, sometimes we have guilt complexes because we didn't choose the right person to be our child's mother or father, or we have guilt complexes because we allowed our children to be victimized by this or that. And once that guilt complex triggers itself in your mind, you stop holding your children accountable, thinking you're doing them a blessing by letting them do whatever the hell they want, until they get older and realize they had no business making adult decisions. Parents, I'm going to tell you something, and this comes from 20 plus years of therapist work. Always make the adult decisions for your children. Never let your children make adult decisions for themselves. Let me give you an example. Your daughter is 17 years old. Y'all have a snowstorm in Milwaukee. Her boyfriend was visiting downstairs in the living room where you can see. It starts snowing. Your daughter comes and say, Mom, it's snowing. Tyrone lived 20 blocks away. Is it okay if he spends the night and go home in the morning because of the snow? Hell no. You know why? Because if you let Tyrone spend a night, that might lead to teenage pregnancy. You can't let your daughter make that decision because that can change the trajectory of her future. So she gonna put on her boots, you gonna put on your boots, Tyrone gonna put on his boots, and y'all gonna walk his ass home. Because I don't allow those kinds of mistakes to be made that can change the trajectory of this child in my house. See, I don't know if you remember, right? I grew up in the late 70s. And those of you who grew up in the 70s or earlier, if you remember when we used to ask our parents why we had to do something. Every black parent from New York to LA, Houston to Kenosha, Chicago to Baltimore had the same answer. I don't care where you live. If you ask the black parent, why do I have to do this? They would simply say, because I said so. Whatever happened to because I said so in the black community? What happened to you being an authority over your child? I see parents begging their children, pleading with their children, negotiating with their children. Understand, if you let that child mess up their childhood, they will hate you for the rest of their life. I know girls who are women who don't talk to their mother because the mother let them make adult decisions. Mama, I had no business dating a man 20 years older than me. Why did you let me do it? Sons, Daddy, I had no business going to the worst high school in Milwaukee. Even if they did have the best basketball team, maybe I wouldn't have got shot. You never let a child make adult decisions. You do let them make decisions. But a good parent is like a good spouse. It's what I call a benevolent dictator. What is a benevolent dictator? It's someone who knows how to give options, because no matter which one you choose, I still get what I want. That's what parenting is all about. You can go to this high school or you can go to this high school. You can hang out with this girlfriend or you can hang out with this girlfriend, because I approve of both options. But you don't make a decision on whether you want to get shot at the club or not. Always be the parent. And mothers, your son is not your husband. He's your son. Black women, I understand this. when you don't have a male in the house, there's a tendency to parentify your oldest son. And in the parentification of your oldest son, you start depending on him for your emotional support. And when you parentify your oldest son and he becomes your source of emotional support, you can no longer hold him accountable for his behavior. So we got an epidemic of black mothers raising their daughters but loving their sons. And some of you are loving your son so much, you're crippling him for someone else's daughter. See, let me say it another way, sisters. You are raising the exact type of man in your home that you yourself would never want to marry. You want a man that's responsible. Your son is anything but responsible. You want a man that respects black women. Your son has no respect for black women. You want a man who's hard-working and self-motivated. Your lazy-ass son don't even want to go to school and you don't make it. Is it possible that the universe won't give you what you're not giving to somebody else's daughter? Black man, we are at fault for not helping these single mothers raise their sons. Nothing is worse than when I get a phone call from a black woman saying, I need help with my son, Dr. Umar. Do you know anybody in my city with a program for young men? And I can't find one. And the ones I do find are religiously exclusive. So if you don't claim Jesus or Muhammad, you can't participate in it. So they're selfish. You see? And so no black woman needs to wait on Dr. Umar to say, I want to help you with this boy and I don't want nothing from you. Because a lot of brothers will use the child as an angle to get into the mother's life. I want her, so I'm going to play big brother to him, but then when I find out she don't want me back, I drop the child like a bad habit. I've seen these stories. I've heard these stories. Black men, every black boy is your son. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing black men say, my two sons are all right. My two sons go to school. My two sons never been arrested. My two sons don't gang bang. My two sons work. My two sons got scholarships. My two sons ain't got nobody pregnant. But what about the other 30 on the block? The problem with black folks is we only care about me, myself, and I. And what you all fail to realize is white people don't put black people in groups. I don't care if you're the richest Negro in Milwaukee or the brokest. I don't care if you're an ex-con or a surgeon. I don't care if you own your own business or you work for McDonald's. A black man and woman is a black man and woman, and America would rather have an America without any of us. If you don't learn how to work together, we will die apart. The most honorable Marcus Garvey said, the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. We not organized. Black parents in Milwaukee ain't organized. Black men ain't organized. Ex-offenders ain't organized. Black homeless ain't organized. Black elders aren't organized. This is why the white man can pick us apart, because there's no unity. There's an African proverb that says sticks in a bundle are unbreakable. See, we would rather hate on each other than destroy the system that oppresses all of us. See, the average Negro has no problem with white folks being in charge. Let's just keep it a buck. Y'all love white folks. That's right. This is Wisconsin. You like the whitest state in the Midwest. Y'all love Caucasians. I've seen about 4 black men walking with their white girls today. And let me say this to all the black men in the room. And I have nothing against the white woman at all. I can hold the door for her. I can help her with a child. No hatred. But the black man's place is with the black woman. And I accept any other type of human. If the black woman was good enough for you during slavery, she should be good enough for you now. If she was good enough for you in Africa, she should be good enough for you now. If she was good enough for you during Jim Crow, she should be good enough for you now. If she was good enough for you during civil rights, she should be good enough for you now. When did the Supreme Court make it legal for black men that suffer the snow bunny crisis? There was a Supreme Court decision case called Loving versus Virginia. This was 1967, 8, or 9, right around the time they killed Dr. King. A white man and a black woman. A white man and a black woman sued up to the Supreme Court because the state of Virginia did not allow interracial marriage. This is the late 60s. And the Supreme Court said it's illegal and unconstitutional to prevent the races from marrying one another. So you have only had the national right to marry outside of your race for 50 years. And my God, black men have married out of their race more than the men of every other race put together in this room. Don't tell me you can't help who you fall in love with. That's a damn lie. If love is blind, why have we never found a rich white woman marry a broke-ass black man? If love is so blind, why don't you ever find that? You always find poor white girls marrying rich football players and basketball players and actors who they would have never even looked at had it not been for their financial situation. And for the life of me, I'm trying to understand how a man who deals with so much racism in your life, black man, you got to deal with racism every second of your existence. Ouch. But you want to go home after you dealt with the on the job in the street and the police. You want to go home to one. And you want to go to Sunday dinner with her family. And you want to open up Christmas gifts with them. And you got to go to her mother's house and eat that nasty pie her mother made. And you know damn well they don't know how to cook. Oh, extra nasty, extra mayonnaise, cold turkey sandwich. I have nothing against the European woman, but my place is with my queen, with my sister. I didn't say black women were perfect. They will turn up on your ass at the drop of a heart. I didn't say black women were perfect. Piss them off, they'll sell your social at tax season. I didn't say black women were perfect. They will go through your phone while you're in the shower. But what I do know, if I got to come home after being beat by the police, if I got to come home after being fired by a racist, if I have to come home after having suffered a psychological, shameful defeat at the hands of a group of white males, there's no shoulder, there's no lap I'd rather cry on than the black woman God made for me. God made the black woman for me. He didn't make the white woman for me. He didn't make the Mexican for me. He didn't make the Arab or the Chinese for me. He made the black woman for me. And how do I know that? Because when the black woman was created and the black man thereafter, there was no Mexican yet. There was no Arab yet. There was no Chinese yet. There wasn't even a white man yet. We were on the planet alone for a very long time. And if I could ask the Lord one question, and if I could ask Almighty Providence one question, that question would be, why in the hell did you have to invent the rest of the groups?